throughout the whole thing when he just has like the little bite on his chest, and then it gets worse and worse and worse. I like how they did that, and I just think it looks really cool.
Yeah, okay, so how the story goes is we are basically visited by an alien parasite, which they show in the very beginning. It comes through like an asteroid thing, and it lands in basically in this kind of foresty area of a small town known as Walesey. I think it's
Walesey.
Walesey. And Grant and his mistress are the ones that find it first, and Grant's curiosity killed a cat. Is basically what does him in. He gets attacked by the alien parasite, and it takes him over. It basically takes over his brain and becomes one with Grant, and that's basically he is now intertwined with Grant. There's no real coming back. He is like the host for the rest of the film, and as James was saying, the makeup it's like small, and then it just gets insane over and over, and the pacing of that is awesome, and the fact that they. Like I said, only 10% of this film, I would say 10% of this is really like CGI that you would be like, oh, that doesn't look like real. You know what I mean? Other than that, they knocked it out of the fucking ballpark with actually committing to doing this stuff for real. Because a lot of it is actually happening. So other than Grant's makeup, his mistress, who he does that disturbing. It's very. Since I watched this for the first time, I could barely even look at it. But there's like an alien rape scene.
Yeah, I noticed that. I didn't notice that before watching it. Watching it right now with you, I was like, this kind of looks like she's getting raped.
Yeah. Because he's pumping her full of babies, dude.
Yeah.
That's what he's doing, man. It's super off-putting and gross watching it, and it makes you feel very uncomfortable, and it's juxtaposed with the rest of the characters at this, like, show, like, this hoedown.
Yeah.
So there's, like, this happy kind of moment happening while, like, he's the alien's impregnating the mistress with his babies, and there's like a subplot love story because he at first was going to do that to Starla, who was our main final girl, pretty much, Elizabeth Banks.
He's going to get her in the shower.
Yeah, he was going to get her in the shower while she's getting ready for the show, and he like, I don't know if you picked up on this, but because he's not really Grant anymore.
Yeah,
he's kind of on Earth for the first time, so he's kind of like a baby in an adult form. So when he meets Starla, he falls in. It's like he's falling in love for the first time, and that's why he doesn't want to impregnate her, because that's ultimately going to kill her. So he's putting her up on this pedestal, so to speak, and it really makes for an interesting plot point in this film, because he really kind of protects her throughout the whole thing. He doesn't really want to hurt her or whatever. He doesn't care about anybody else,
just her,
but her.
Yeah.
And the way that Michael Rooker, the only way that he can, because he's so good. There's really kind of it's weird. I don't know, like a touching moment. Like he sees her and he's like falling for her, and he's feeling, because he's supposed to be able to feel Grant's feelings and memories and all of that is intertwined with him. Yeah, and he starts crying.
Yeah.
And she even talks about after, because they sleep together or whatever, she talks about after how Grant like has discovered all these new parts of her body, like if he was a newborn kid and stuff. So that part is definitely strange, but it works and makes for a great part of the movie. What else was I going to say? Oh, yeah. His mistress, when she gets impregnated, going back to what I was saying before, he puts her in this, he chains her up in this barn and feeds her like this raw meat, because I guess you get super hungry when you have all that shit in you for whatever reason. And she gets like super like
huge,
bloated,
like Willy Wonka fucking what's her name, the blueberry girl. But like times 10.
And that is completely practical, my
really
friend. Yeah.
No way.
They created that huge bubble body, and they made her. She goes inside of it, and there's like this little hole in the beginning, and she puts her head through it, and then they seal her.
Oh, okay.
So the actor's really inside that thing,
bubble.
acting. Yeah.
Oh man.
And that could not have been fun. And I guess James had to fight to get that made, because they wanted to they kept giving him like things like how it should look, and that it didn't make sense like gravity wise and certain things, and he was like, no, I don't care, I want this like big bubble like boob thing, and then her head is like the nipple or whatever, like he was set, so that's all him in his head.
Oh man, that's crazy. That's awesome. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. And I really like we'll lead this into, so when she tears apart, and they reveal all the worms that she's been inhabiting inside of her, the worms that can turn you into basically zombie, like a zombie-ish character. That's leading us into what I personally didn't like the CGI for, at least those first set of worms in that scene. They attack a bunch of our main players, and they basically have to cover their mouths, because that's the only way that the worms really get inside you and inhabit your body, pretty much take you over. And there's like this scene where like they basically get covered in the worms, but they look like so bad.
Oh yeah,
like
you can definitely tell it's
cartoony.
Yeah.
At least the first time, and then when they move, because this film does a good job of changing your protagonists. So you're set up with different people throughout it, and it really flows really well that way, I think. Yeah. Anyway, it goes to from the barn scene. They go to the daughter in the bathtub.
Oh yeah.
And then you see the worms go, and they basically attack her while she's taking a bath, which is also disturbing. But those worms, you can tell, I think they had two different special effects teams working. Yeah. And you can tell immediately the difference.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Like those worms look a lot better than the worms that we saw in the barn, or even in when Grant attacks Starlight or is about to attack her in this shower. There's tentacle things come out of his chest, and even those are CGI, but you can buy it.
They look good.
Yeah. What else did you like about
one of the since we're talking about things that we kind of didn't like or whatever, but the CGI they used when they blow up Grant, when he blows up and you see all the splatter and everything, it was CGI. I mean, you could tell it was CGI, but
I feel like there was a mixture of like maybe both. They had real explosions and then they had the computer generated stuff. Yeah, and it just doesn't mix very well.
It didn't mix. Yeah, it looked out of place.
Yeah.
But
and a couple of the room is real, and and Grant's real, and but a few of those big tentacles are fake.
Yeah,
and you can tell those. Yeah.
But other than that, I enjoyed the movie. I really like this scene. You get a little glimpse of where the slithers, or whatever they're called, where they come from when it almost goes into the girl in the bathtub.
Yes.
When they almost go into her mouth, and
I love that. Yeah. I actually love that.
I really like that part
because it's giving you a little bit of exposition on not too much, but on the alien parasite and what he's familiar with, and other planets that maybe he's conquered and took over. And they do, what is it, like, it looks like rat people or something?
Yeah, they're like giant, like naked mole rats or something.
That that he had basically, it looks like he was in the middle of attacking them, but it was like a memory that she connected with, plus Grant's memories, because they're intertwined, and I just really liked that smart writing. Yeah,
it's really good. Another thing that I liked that really made this movie for me was the mayor. Just I don't know, everything he said, his little one-liners and everything were just, I think they hit every time with his comedic timing.
Yeah, he's definitely a great addition that keeps the comedic relief flowing throughout. And it's sad when he has to go.
Yeah, it happened really quick too. I mean, you didn't get to like feel any type of like, oh man, but it just you just see him for 1 second. And he says, "Oh, kill me," because he gets infected or whatever, and he's eating people now. And he sees Nathan Fillion's character, and he just jumps in front of him and he says, "Just kill me now, please." And then he's chewing on an arm or something, and he just shoots him in the head, and then they go on about their business. But,
and he has this crazy, actually really
like a bubble or
nice looking boil.
On his neck.
On his neck, that's not super gnarly.
Yeah,
and he just fucking caps him.
Yeah.
Oh, speaking of that, I really love the old lady that's chasing him up the stairs before he gets infected by Grant's character, I think. She's like, "Don't you judge me, you goddamn Republican. We're going to chase you guys out of this town."
Oh, that was funny. That was great.
Completely out of nowhere. It makes no sense whatsoever, but it's incredibly funny. And if you watch some of the behind the scenes, you can see that James Gunn really sits in the chair and he's yelling these things for them to say.
Really?
Like I saw this part, where he's like, "Call him a Republican."
No
Call
way.
him a Republican.
Oh,
yeah,
man,
that's his style of directing. He just
way.
thinks of these crazy things and has them do them.
Oh, that's so sick. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Oh man. What do you think about? Do you think it's a part? I was kind of a question about the movie and directors in general.
Yeah.
But do you think it's kind of an ego thing when directors put themselves in their movies, or do you think it's just kind of like a for fun, like how James Gunn did in this? I don't think he does it in a lot of his other stuff, but I saw him in this, and then M. Night Shyamalan does it in his movies. That's the only two I can think of right now, but I mean
Tarantino.
Yeah, Tarantino.
He's done it,
I know a couple other directors do it too, but
I've even seen Mel Gibson jump in a couple of his films.
Yeah. Do you think it's just? What do you think about that?
It depends on really who they are. Like James Gunn, I feel like nobody as big as he is, he's not really like
I don't know what he looks like. Yeah,
he's not really a face.
Yeah, they just know his name.
So for him, I think it works. I think it just depends on whether, it depends on the movie and whether it's going to be just too distracting. You know what I mean? It has to feel good. And M. Night Shyamalan, I feel like that just became like something that he feels he has to do, and I don't really understand it. Like, I don't know. I feel like you don't have to necessarily do it. And like I said, it just depends on the movie.
Yeah.
And yeah. I hope that answered.
Oh, yeah, no. I just wanted to start a conversation about that because I thought that was pretty, I think it's pretty cool when the directors do that.
Yeah,
Kind of a little nod to themselves or whatever,
or just to see if people will catch it.
Yeah.
Or if they're paying attention, you know.
Yeah, I mean, because I only know his face because of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
But I knew it was him right away. He hasn't changed at all from the last 12 years from then. But yeah,
most of them really don't.
Yeah. What else do you want to talk about in the movie?
Anything that you didn't like besides the CGI?
No. One thing I liked about the bathroom scene or the bathtub scene when when she pulls the slug out of her mouth and she throws it against the wall and it's kind of like dragging itself towards her still, but it's kind of like whimpering.
Yeah.
And it's CGI right there, but then when she grabs her
curling iron
and she burns it, and they switch it to a practical slug.
Yes.
And I like the way
the guts come.
Yeah, the guts kind of like spew out.
It looks really good.
Yeah, it looks really good. I like the way they did that, and the same thing with the slug in the bathtub when it's swimming to her. I'm pretty sure that's a real.
Yes, a real effect.
Yeah, real effect. I don't think it's CGI or anything, but I like you said, how they mix both of them together.
That reminded me, I don't know if that was an intentional callback, but that definitely looked very familiar from Nightmare on Elm Street.
I was going to mention that too. When I were watching on TV right now, that's the first thing that came to my head, and I was like, oh, it's just like that.
Yes.
Yeah, and